Mesdames et messieurs.
That's an awesome beginning.
Okay. Okay, so let's play podcast. Today,
Sometime.
are we? We are going to be so sorry about this. So, anyways, if you don't cut this out, this is the start of the podcast. We actually have guests. There are two guys who will be joining us. They're going to reintroduce themselves because we know them for a couple of weeks, couple of years, couple of decades or more. And today's or tonight's or to whatever time you're listening to this, the topic is security. We are going to touch on cloud security. We are going to touch on security practices. We are going to touch on what's new in security today and what can we expect. And we are going to try to give some sort of advice how to keep yourself safe in such a way that you think you are safe.
IT security, of course.
Yes. So let's roll the intro. Now you.
Who me?
Yes, you.
Who you? Who something? Somebody.
Okay, introduce the guests, please.
Okay, on my left, my first guest, or our first guest on the left is Zlatan Moric. He is our head of Department of Cybersecurity. And the second guest is Damir Regvart. He is our colleague from our Department of Operating Systems, now lecturer, used to be just an assistant, but now full-time lecturer. And the reason why those two guys here are with us today is because Zlatan is overall a security expert, and Damir has been working with various aspects of network and other types of security for the better part of the past 2 decades, and is also a PhD student in the college that I'm attending, PhD on the topic of cloud security.
Okay, so all the guests are on your left. So let's start with something.
On the right.
Yes. Yes. So let's start with the questions. So guys, is the security even possible? Can you be secure on the internet?
Can you be on the internet? No. Without internet, yes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Are these trick questions or?
No. I need something to break the ice because everybody says how to be secure on the internet. My main purpose, my main thought is always you cannot be secure on the internet. If you are online, you are insecure. You may be thinking you are secure, but you're not secure. So let's start with some sort of advice. Can we be secure on the internet if we make some sort of an effort? Or let me rephrase the questions. What would be top 3 things that you would always do before you connect to the internet so that you are secure on the internet, as secure as you can be?
So basically you can think that you are secure on the internet if you do all the patching, all security configuration, etc. And in that point you are secure if someone don't know some zero-day exploit which are non-known, so you don't know about it. So basically if someone finds some exploit for your web browser and you don't know about it, even visiting sub-page, you can be hacked.
Okay, but let's now forget about APTs and targeted attacks. Let's just imagine that we are the average Joe of the internet who is just browsing. He's not a particular target for anybody, so he's not being targeted. So if I'm not targeted and I may be involved in, unfortunately, get a zero-day vulnerability that is going to breach my security, but this probably won't happen to an average person.
So basically, what you mean when you say that you are not targeted?
I mean, I'm not a person of interest to anybody who is doing specific targeting of people. So nation states, targets, malware organization, and so on.
So
because
you don't have any money. You can't pay anything.
I have backups, and if they, the most important thing that probably they can extort me for is my data on my computers, And since I have backups that are offline, I mostly don't care about them. So if somebody's trying to extort me money by doing malware, I don't care. They can try to target my bank transactions, but okay, let's say that I'm not that kind of a target.
But
So
basically, you mentioned that you are not target for some APTs or something
Yes.
like that. And you probably heard about Lazarus APT group, which are North Korean state-sponsored. And main things they do are just hacking for money. So, like FBI think that about 13% of GDP of North Korea is made by Lazarus group.
Holy moly.
So basically everyone is target.
okay, but are they distinguishing between people who actually have money, or they are just
Non-critically
throwing the
attacking.
net? And,
So basically if they find some zero-day exploit for, I don't know, Chrome Edge or something, they will target everyone.
okay, but can I avoid being a target if I just use, I don't know, a small set of normal size that I'm always using? Let's say that I'm not using porn and I'm not using torrents or movies.
So basically, in most cases, yes, but you go to some, I don't know, news portals or
Okay.
something, and all these news portals selling some advertising part of page. So if I'm Lazarus group or something, I will pay for advertisement for every news website and put some malware in that part of the website. You will think that you are on CNN page, and you are, but basically some code from that page will do something on your computer.
Okay, so basically now I'm depressed. Okay, anyways.
As opposed to usual.
as opposed to usual, but I thought that by limiting my exposure and my surface, I was trying to say there is a possibility that I may be avoiding most of the problems.
So basically there is some magical triangle, say security, functionality, and easy of useness.
Okay.
So basically you can be secure on internet.
Mm-hmm.
But the
You just need to
internet is going
disable.
be-
You just need to disable support for JavaScript.
That's fine.
Okay, if it's fine for you, 99% of page will not work, and
So I can be secure, but the internet is going to be unusable. Well,
So that would be like installing Windows 95 using an old version of Netscape Navigator and trying to load a web page.
and you will be probably 100% sure, not with Windows 95 because
Reasons, yes.
Yes,
Obvious.
but-
exposures.
but the Netscape will be safe.
That's good.
okay.
Okay, so let's all go back to old versions of Netscape and everything is fine.
This is the thing I was just trying to think about. What would happen if I would switch to something that is so old that almost all the internet doesn't know about it? So if I actually switch to the Netscape, because Netscape doesn't know what JavaScript is. Netscape is not capable of rendering almost anything, including CSS. That could be a problem, but okay, let's ignore that problem. I wouldn't be able to render HTML5, which could prove to be an even bigger problem. But then I would probably get just a digest of text of pages being simply text.
So probably you can use wget or something like that.
Links.
It's the same as using Netscape for everything. So probably you will see in a way as meant to be only web pages which are 20 or more years old.
Mhm.
Everything which are newer, you will not see almost anything.
So what I need is tails as a distribution, and I need links to connect to them. I'm going to get some sort of information out of it. It's not going to be nice, but it's going to be pretty secure. Okay.
Or just don't use any web browser, use wget or curl or something and just parse text in your head. So,
There's basically links. Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
basically we're going to go back to Gopher.
yeah.
But now, okay, now let's make more sense. Do you have any questions?
Just keep on. I will.
Because for some reason I'm interviewing people.
Yes. Well, that's good.
I used to be a journalist, but also you did that. So
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
okay. So whether if you had to ask a person something on security, what would you ask Damir?
is there, let's say, some point at which investment into security, specifically, let's say, from perspective of cloud, becomes something that's relevant for everyday user, not for business users, but for everyday users? Would you use, as a private person, would you use something like some kind of a, let's say, cloud-based security software or AI or ML or whatever?
Well, you have a lot of services that actually are using on the cloud, so it's probably cloud secure protected. So probably you will use it. Whether will you use it, some cloud of service to protect your own PC? That's a very, very good question, because you need to have internet connection. Is the internet connection secure or not? That's an issue.
Chicken and egg problem yet again.
Yeah.
But okay, I could solve that problem, because I can always use disposable, like Tails. I can use a disposable Linux that is going to basically completely reset itself after the session. So my internet connection suddenly becomes non-problem, because whatever I do at my home is going to be reset every time I start it, and I can start it from, I don't know, read-only medium, and just everything's going to be in memory. I'm going just to reset it and then start again. So if I base my existence in the cloud, is it possible to actually be secure?
Nothing is 100% sure, but probably it would be, I wouldn't say secure, but much more cheaper for you.
There is another way. You could use virtual machines for that. They're a much more convenient usage model.
Yes.
A lot of security experts do that.
Yes, but we still don't have any known exploits related to virtual machines. But for example, it's 10 years ago, there was some vulnerability, for example, for VMware Workstation, which allow you escape from virtual machine to host. So basically in security talk, etc., there is, let's say, big hole or something talking about blue pill. You probably heard about theoretical speaking about that. So it's probably related when someone will find some vulnerability to some of hypervisors.
There are actually quite a few lately related to all of the above. VMware's ones and Microsoft ones, I saw some, and yeah, KVM, not a lot of people use, but still.
But all these vulnerabilities was related to connecting to that services, but VM escaping is
it's a real
very dangerous.
Privilege escalation problem, obviously. Well, you could theoretically create a VM that only uses a certain physical network card, which would isolate it from the OS, but still escaping from the VM might be a problem. Yes, okay, I get it.
So this offline media, some read-only media on, I don't know, CD drive or something, booting from that, it's most secure. But again, this triangle security
in terms of
functionality,
convenience is non-existent. Right? We do know quite a few people who do that, though. We have a colleague that does that, who does that a lot.
Yes, and he's so used to it that he's usually faster than me doing some things that take me time, although I have my entire environment configured, and he always starts from scratch. So this is the amazing part of it. But okay, let's not go into it. Is maybe Chromebook ecosystem close to this? Because Chromebook itself is relatively protected. Google, from what I know, I haven't heard that they had any security breaches of mention. So when it comes to their own infrastructure.
So basically, when we're talking about all this, let's say, rare operating system, etc., there are, I don't know, 10 years ago, everyone thinks that Apple are most secure operating system. And the reason for that is because it wasn't interesting for any hacking groups. So basically, if you, for example, in Croatia, want to write some malware or something, I think that is much easier to do it for the Linux operating system than from for Windows. And if that malware needs to, I don't know, steal your money for your connection to internet banking, how many people in Croatia use Linux for connecting to internet banking?
System. Yeah, probably
basically close to zero, because none of the banks support Linux as the operating system with their with their cards. So I would say that this wouldn't be a viable technique for a cracker.
So basically, you know that we organize hacking night competition every year at Algebra. In most cases, we have assignment with virtual machine with Linux operating system, because in most cases, when you install and configure Windows machine, update everything new, there is no vulnerability. And for Linux, in most cases, even new installation, patching everything, but some errors in configuration can lead to exploit that operating system. But basically, most hackers try to make something on the largest group of computers. And right now, I think that focus on moving from Windows to Android operating system, because we have more Android users. But as you say, Chromebook or Android operating system have totally different architecture, so you can't execute any root commands, etc. So it's not so easy to create or break this operating system. Even architecture, CPU, ARM don't have privilege mode, etc. So it's a lot or much harder to break this operating system. But again, application which are running on this operating system, let's say slower, because they don't have that kind of access. So they can't execute directly instruction on CPU. They need to go through some framework, etc.
Now I'm going to switch to Damir because I want to ask him something. Damir has been tolerating users for the best part of 2 decades when it comes to networks. How would you judge, because you were specifically doing the education environment, how would you judge the general knowledge about security, not networking, but security, when it comes to people in education? Because what I would say is that the security itself is not a problem as long as people are able to educate you on security. And my feeling, and I don't have as much experience as you, is that the necessary knowledge does not exist in the education environment.
Yeah, that's correct presumption. Because from my experience, when everything is working well, their knowledge about security is zero. When something big happened, the knowledge grows. But before that, it was close to zero.
So there's a case to be made there for permanent action being taken on the part of company to try to always kind of like make conscious effort for the users to be aware of those problematic situations.
But our other approach was, let's rethink about security instead of them. So,
but that leads us directly to to a situation in which security is offloaded to some black box, which is what most people want to do, invest into black box 1, 2, and 3, and think that that's going to universally help, which doesn't happen.
But in the end, I think your approach is wrong. Because what you're doing, you're creating lazy users.
Yeah.
Users
I think we already have a lazy user.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other way is, if you try to educate them, it will take a long, long time. And who knows whether they will like to be educated or not.
No,
there is an issue right now, and we need to solve first the issue, then try to educate them. But once they have a security breach, everything changed. So I can let them, I could let them get breached, or they have a security issue, but that's also not a good approach.
Okay, but I think the approach would probably better be combining your part of trying to get them safe and also educating them. But I think that you are right now saying that more or less that it's much simpler for you to do your job and ignore the users than to try to waste money on people who are not going to get educated, whatever you do.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate. But I was expecting the question.
Yeah, no, we had an issue because we had for few institutions they shared the file using Windows Share. So unsecure protocol, everything unsecure. They were just using it, and when we forbid it, we got a very big rant from our users why we cannot share our files.
I know because I was doing simple Google searches for Excel files, and I found quite a bit of information about different people. Okay, thankfully this was before GDPR, so I didn't have the necessity to report it. But I found, I don't know, information about people, credit lines, payment information, different information about their faculty staff and so on, simply online. Because they decided that they're going to share it by using the website. So they just uploaded it to a website and said, okay, this is going to be Excel files, and that's it. So I know that this part of security is basically a joke for most of the users.
So basically, you can easily go to Shodan.io and just search for SMB or something. You will find
hundreds,
I
probably.
think, not hundreds, like 10,000s open SMB protocols on the internet. So not internally in the company, just open to the internet.
That's plenty enough.
You know that.
And just sorry, just to mention something, you mentioned some black box which can help you. A lot of companies, I see some other big issue related to that. It's not related to educating people, but a lot of companies buy very expensive equipment, and that equipment can help them, but they don't know how to use the features.
Yeah, configure them correctly.
They didn't configure.
Man, this is also training. It's a little different level of training, but it's also training. Because if you wouldn't believe me, but it took me maybe 10 years to understand that SMB can work over the internet. Because I never thought that you would for any reason do it, so I didn't try it. And then I realized that you can actually turn on the SMB. The SMB is going to be working over the internet, and you can configure network in that way. It's not that you should configure the network in that way, but I never thought it is even possible. I thought that Microsoft was by default just limiting it to local networking.
So basically it's not related to service messaging block protocol, it's related to NetBIOS protocol, and I think starting Windows, I'm not in Windows 11 is not supported, but from Windows 19.5 or something, there is option NetBIOS over TCP. So,
which is NetBIOS is always an amazing thing. Gratefully, Microsoft decided that they're going to turn off SMB 1 in Windows 10. So it took them, what, 30 years to do so.
And make a lot of complaints, and you still have way how to avoid that, because so I mostly don't do anything expect my work at university, and only things that I work aside is support for some operational technology system, some industry or something. And just for example, a few years ago, one company buy new equipment, something for few million of euros, and they receive Windows NT for new machine or something. So basically, if you from the Windows 10 need to have access to some of these machines, you need to enable
cryptography. You need to downgrade basically everything. Possible rule.
PowerShell enable SMB1 and
Yes, and this is also the thing in all, not only the industry, in the health business, because the reason behind it is complicated, and the main reason is always money. In the health industry, the problem is that if you are changing the entire operating system, you need to recertify the entire device.
I'm not sure that the reason is recertification. I think that in most cases, reason is that you can't give Windows 10 to, I don't know, control some industrial
machine
device
or something.
Okay, but also
just imagine that you have Windows 10 which controlling, I don't know, these Patriot rockets or something like that. And just imagine he just sees some rockets and need to fire, and Windows update start or something.
Okay,
so basically, Windows NT is the last Microsoft operating system where you from application can have full control of the hardware. So
yes, that's
the reason why we have a lot of blue screens in these days, because application can crash everything. But in that case, application have full control and have opportunity to send signals, let's say in 20 milliseconds
Much
time
faster than
frame
it would be,
or something. Today, you are not sure when Windows will give you
The
any
time on
to
schedule. Yeah, that's correct. But actually, your discussion about industries is a nice lead into another topic that I wanted us to cover. We kind of touched on this when we were looking at something during lunchtime today, which is the percentages or division of the different types of cyber attacks per industry, if you remember our discussion. Talk about that for a second, because I know there are some really interesting topics and realizations there.
So basically, right now in the head, I don't know real percentage, but last year is the first year in the history that I know that we have most cyber attack on manufacturing industry.
Yeah, more than 20%, if I remember from the graph.
And after that is financial, health, education,
governmental education, and
etc.
Okay, is it just technical debt, just getting its own when it comes to industry? So did the industry just simply ignore the security for so long that right now they just became a target simply because they are the target of opportunity? So the opportunity is there because they didn't care about the security.
So it's my I think that in the time before Stuxnet, there is no company which produce equipment for industry or something which think about security at all. Most devices have embedded some administrator service account, etc., which can't be changed, etc., etc. And after Stuxnet attack, companies start to think about security. And in some country there was some change in the law. So, for example, you mentioned health industry. I know that you work for them. So, like 6-7 years ago, in United States, they changed the law that medical devices can't have embedded accounts.
Okay. Because they all had default passwords, probably. Yeah.
But you don't have option to change
it
that password,
yeah,
because it's a password for servicemen. So just imagine that you need, I don't know, you're supporting 100 CTS devices or something, and you have only one password for all of them to do repairing or something.
But
and
that's easy. That's easy for the support.
And the worst thing is with that kind of access to these devices, you are actually able to kill patient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because as a regular user, as a radiologist or something, you are not able to put some values like power of lasers or something to some level which are dangerous. But as a serviceman, there is no limit.
So now you don't need the assistance of the doctor to kill people.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. That's just no. It's just me thinking aloud,
thinking out loud and being crazy. Yes, 5150, as Americans say.
Yes. Okay. Let's
basically, let's say that 20 years ago, most of industrial equipment was, let's say, relatively secure because they wasn't connected to the rest of the network in the company. Even they use protocols, networks for communication between devices, etc. But they are separate from the internet, so there is no connection to the internet and there is no connection to your business network. Problems start with lot of manufacturing industrial systems, so lot of companies want to see how production going on, etc. in ERP systems. So you need to connect operation technology network to business environment. And when you do that, you open access to potential malicious user, because they will first, in most cases, operation technology will not be directly connected to the internet. But someone will break to your enterprise network, and from that they will go to operation technology, and most devices don't have any security controls.
I have a question that goes from completely different direction, actually. Both of you are doing a course that's called Operating Systems. Now, let's get your education hats back on for a second, because this is directly related to the whole topic of that course. And in one of the learning outcomes, we teach people about embedded systems, or at least we used to. Do you see education about that for both system engineers and programmers as something that can be a worthwhile investment of, let's say, corporate or, of course, students' time, if they want to go into that type of industry and change something? Because having old non-embedded systems or old embedded systems, specifically because of the reason that you mentioned, ERP connection, visualization of the business process, whatever, that doesn't make any sense in a lot of different ways.
So basically, when we're talking about embedded systems, and today it's a very hype talking about Internet of Things devices, etc. It's the same things. Major selling point for all the company is cheapness of devices. So basically, let's say a lot of these companies are aware that the product is not secure, but they use hardware which are not able to do security. So for example, if you use, I don't know, Arduino, some device, and build something around it. So all company knows that using TLS is much better if you need to communicate through the internet. But if you want that Arduino do encryption and decryption of TLS or something, it's 95% of CPU time will be just for that. And again, if it's that device need to work on some battery or something, so they decide, okay, we will ignore security and just increase functionality of device, and that battery stay longer, etc.
What do you think?
Well, I agree. We try to learn the students to think about security, hopefully. Well, I was also working on my PhD about this IoT stuff and cloud connections, and let's IoT put aside. Somebody needs to protect all these devices, and I'm currently working on intermediate devices, and let the intermediate devices protect the IoT devices. That could be one way, one approach.
But how much should be, how much security should be just forced on the user? So we agreed that the user more or less even doesn't know or doesn't care about the security. They're going to go just the least expensive way when they're dealing with something. So do you think that maybe the operators or whoever is handling the network should just simply cut off the entirety of the user population from everything that they can harm them, and then maybe in an ideal world, make them go through a set of tests for them to prove that they are able to work with the internet, unless
their wordiness.
So the wordiness. So let's say that we would create something that would be more safe for the users, and then the users will need to prove that they need something in order to get it.
Like driving license.
Yes, basically the internet driving license, or security driving license.
Yeah, that would be a great solution.
But that's something that should probably start during the very young education age then.
But we already started doing this.
No, we didn't.
But
no.
I will not stop on that. So I have very big concern related to any kind of information technology or computing job or something. So there is no any regulation. So you can become security expert for some company without knowing anything. There is no one check your knowledge. So basically, do you know anyone or any country which say, okay, if you want to work as a system engineer in the company, you need to know that and that.
Okay, but this is also the same way that we get politicians. So you don't need to prove anything, not including being able to write and read, to become a politician. So this is not a big problem for me, because I see a precedent.
Thank you, Lord, for providing us with the chance to get YouTube flagged for one word that he just said. That's what we are looking for, man.
Okay, so
I'm going to beep it out.
So, but we already basically are doing this for the person, because the operators are protecting themselves. Some operators are protecting themselves from torrents. They are trying to stop file sharing. They are trying to stop obvious breaking of the law. And should it just become something mandatory for them to protect the users? So right now, most of the operators that I know here in Croatia
service providers
offer some sort of a service that enables you to pay for the protection. So either they do some packet inspection, or they are selling you and reselling you more or less crappy
antivirus software,
antivirus or protection software. So it's not. It's I need to avoid using the patented word. So complete protection of your system against internet problems, and this is right now basically the service you pay for. Should this service become something that the operator must do to protect the user?
I will just add one sentence. They can provide you a full solution for protection from internet. Just cut you out.
Okay, but we have operators that do that, but then the users are less than happy.
Well, I wouldn't say that the telecom operator should do that. If you have something that you want to have secure, put it in secure cloud environment. So cloud service providers should do that, not the telecom operators. Their work is to get your packet on time with less latency and everything else. I wouldn't say telecom operators' job to do.
Oh, you see a clear distinction between those two things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But me too.
Yeah, it's okay.
I consider telecom operators more or less the same thing as people who provide you with gas or water. So basically,
market disproves you, but it's okay. Yes.
But their job is to provide you with however much water you need at any given time, and that's it. But what they have to do, the water has to be healthy, and it shouldn't harm you. Because they have an obligation to do so. The electric company, much less so, because we can talk about those things. But okay, let's talk about water. I consider internet to be as important as water for a given thing.
I fundamentally disagree with you, but I understand why you want to say that.
How long can you live without the internet, and how long can you live without water?
Exactly my point.
Is it living without internet?
It is.
Okay.
Absolutely it is.
So,
I would say
it's much harder, but it's possible.
So, but
without water,
but without Volt and Glovo, you mean?
But joking aside, all the different utilities have the minimum requirements that they have to fulfill in order to give you some sort of a service. Since the cyber attacks are actively harming you, should the internet provider be the one protecting you from cyber attacks?
At least partially.
Because they have they need to make sure that you are able to go to the internet. But the cyber attacks can harm you. Can I just say, okay, water company needs to provide me the water that won't harm me, so the internet company should be providing the internet that won't harm me.
So basically, it's a much harder problem. How you expect that internet provider will detect any kind of attacks or something? So if they are even able technically to do that, today we will not talking about security, but it's not possible. So if someone steal, I don't know, your credentials and connect from internet to your company, how you think that your telecom operator need to know that to prevent that or something?
There's another problem in the thought process that he just presented, but he does that on purpose, and I like that, which is that internet access and water are not the same thing, and both of them are not treated as utilities all over the world. The amount of countries that recognize internet access as a utility, what in US they called it Section 7 or something. I don't remember the correct term, something like that. Most countries do not equate internet and water as necessities.
Yes, but on the other hand,
the question is whether they should, but that's a different question.
But right now they're trying to say that it is a human right. So they're trying to even more elevate the access to the internet as something that needs to be provided to every person. And it makes sense, because without internet right now, you are almost non-existing. I know that it's funny to say you don't need the internet for everyday work, but you do.
That's okay. But I think there's a fundamental difference between saying that you need water for life and internet for life.
Okay.
Sorry, it's not the same thing.
Not entirely. Not entirely, but
I can agree with
I know. I can also partially, but
if we can say, okay, I don't need water if I can have beer. So basically,
okay, but
water as a
okay, but without internet, you wouldn't probably be able to get water anymore. Because in order to get water, you need some sort of money, and money is usually something you don't have unless you have the ATMs running. And if there is no internet, you have a problem. Also, the industrial complex is working based on the internet.
But you change now the way of thinking. So
yes, this is
first you didn't mention that there is no internet at all. It's no internet for you or no water for you. But globally, if there is no internet for everyone, I think that we will have very big issue in the first few years. For
I'm
everything.
just going to say that my job here is to use every possible logical fallacy there is to try to establish a line of thought that is completely impossible to follow.
Yeah, that's what he does. Okay, next, do you have any other questions? Can we switch to something else?
Switch to something else.
Okay, quantum encryption and stuff like that. That's something that's probably the next step in. Or one of the next steps that are going to happen in security, especially for, let's say, VPN connections and stuff like that. And it's from what I know, from my limited experience with some of those systems, it's already being used for some sorts of communication.
So
how do we see that?
Basically, right now, major focus is not on quantum cryptography; it's on quantum cryptanalysis. So basically, a few years ago, DARPA have some competition related to for successor of IIS algorithms, which are now is officially approved by government related to cryptography. And basically, right now, we don't have operational quant computers. So basically, there are only prototypes, and we are still don't have any problems with that. But basically, if someone successfully built some operational quant computer with enough nodes, etc., we will be able to break IIS in less than 1 year, which are not acceptable for most country. So basically, for me personally, if someone can decrypt something which I crypt today in 1 year, it's not important for, but for the government, it's different things. So right now, I'm not sure about numbers. So I think 11 proposals for quant cryptography algorithms are sent, and I think that for 2 of them mathematicians find some flaws, etc. So they are discarded, and they are still evaluating 9.
So basically the same process that they used when they were approving RSA.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
So basically it's open to everyone, and from my knowledge, I think that only mathematician trying to evaluate everything, and probably globally 1,000 of them playing and trying to figure out which is the, let's say, best one.
Okay.
Wouldn't it just be simpler to just encrypt something like, I don't know, $1 million worth in bitcoins, and then just use different encryptions, put it on the internet and say, okay, do your best?
So basically, I think that DARPA give $1 million reward for the best algorithms.
Yes, but when you come to testing, you just encrypt $1 million of bitcoins, put it on the website, and say, okay, whoever decrypts this gets
have a go at it.
Have a go at it, and we don't need the dedicated testing teams because they already have the reason why they would do that.
Yes, it's a known concept called bounty programs or something, but I don't know why, but it's a good idea to do that. Just create wallet and encrypt it and put it on the internet. But basically, the reason why I think why they don't do that, because if someone successfully break it, a reason for breaking some code can be different. So maybe I be lucky and in my first attempt just successfully guess the key.
Okay,
That doesn't mean that algorithm is wrong.
Mhm.
okay,
So
but-
basically they trying to find mathematician proof for the goodness of some of these algorithms.
Okay, but on the other hand, if somebody is able to break something just by pure luck in a couple of days, then maybe we have a deeper problem than the algorithm itself.
So there is no 100%.
Okay, I know that.
Any encryption algorithms are safe if you, or not safe, because you always have chance to try all possible keys.
And you can just by pure,
And when you
pure guessing, you can just guess the key and just
and
decrypt it.
So in the, let's say, the hardest way will be that the last one will be the good one.
Yeah, statistically speaking, not going to happen, but still, yes.
Statistically speaking, so there is some mathematician problem or probability problem. How many people need to be in the same room to have probability more than 50% that have the
same
birthday on the
Yeah,
same day?
Knut problem.
What is something like 11?
22.
No, okay.
Okay, so it's not half of them.
Mhm.
So it's related also to cyber attacks when you're trying to break some key. So for example, I don't know, you have bicycle, you have some lock with 3 numbers. So everyone can break it. He just need to
Yeah,
try
for a little bit of time.
thousand combination.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. I can partially relate to that.
And basically, in most cases,
He's now afraid for his
will,
bicycle.
He will not. In most cases, you will not need 1,000.
Mhm. Yes.
Yes.
Statistically speaking, yet again, you're correct.
Okay, but enough statistics. Let's not mix math into this thing because
It's all about math.
Yes, but I know. But let's not do it. Let's keep it.
But I have to ask another question that's kind of semi-related to it.
Okay.
How do you see when we touched upon the topic of AI ML? How do you see their role in security in future? That's a much more interesting topic.
So AI will be used for security experts, but also for hackers. So in last few months, we are witnessing this, let's say, large language model revolution or something, and there is a lot talking about it and trying to regulate everything, but most people are not aware that the models like that exist last 10 years or something like that, but they wasn't free.
Mhm.
Even OpenAI is open source, so you can download all the code and run it on your equipment. It's not cheap, but you can do it. So basically, we're witnessing that a lot of hackers use large language model to produce phishing emails, which are now, okay, now you can suspect that something was wrong if there is no grammatical errors, because in most cases, people are not able to write everything
Grammatically
right.
correct sentence.
Yes. And another thing's related to, I hate term artificial intelligence. I like to use machine learning because intelligence is something totally different. And my opinion is that magicians still don't know how brain works, so we are not able to simulate brain to be able to create some machine which will simulate a human and be intelligence, etc. But again, it's whole different topics defining what is intelligence, etc.
Is it analog? Is it
but-
digital? Is it somewhere in between?
And we are not talking only for these language models. There are different things of attacks which hackers use. For example, they can use deepfake technology to simulate audio, simulate video files. So basically, I think 99% of people, no, 99, 30% of people in the world, when they receive some emails, when the boss asks them to do something which are suspicious, they will call to check.
Or you would like, yeah, that's not the majority.
Not majority, but lot of people will do that. But if you receive phone call from the phone number of your boss and the voice of your boss telling you to do something,
yeah,
what will you do?
Usually you'll just do it. Yeah.
And for opposite side, we using machine learning algorithms last decades for improving security products. So basically, you are aware that Microsoft Defender is one of the best antivirus programs right now, and the reason is machine learning, because they collect all these telemetry data for all the Windows system. And so right now they are the company who are first aware of any process, new process which exists. So basically, if you write your Hello World application and run it on your Windows, when you compile it and run, Microsoft will know, oh, there is new application exist.
I was always wondering, how do they sort out malicious programs from Microsoft products that are crashing? Because this seems to be a computationally hard problem. But then that's just me, because today I have a special place in my heart for Microsoft products today, because in the other news I learned that your Windows 11 can crash if you plug Xbox controller that has not been updated to the latest version of the firmware once, and then the Windows 11 will continue crashing until you update the controller, even if the controller is not there. I'm at loss for words, because I cannot understand what is happening there.
He's a very good beta tester for crap.
But
for all of the weird stuff that can happen.
No, I'm not doing the alpha testing. I don't do beta testing.
Okay, sorry.
I leave beta testing to the professionals.
Yeah, right. It's not as if you work for a company that has a lot of alpha and beta testing.
But if you're dealing with Windows 11, you're just Evel Knievel of the software world. You just drop in head first and try to stay alive. But anyways, go continue.
What are we going to do about the proliferation of these IoT things, devices? What are we going to do about all of the washing machines on the internet and all the other stuff that people want to use? How about that from security?
The only thing we can do is make sure where they connect. Make some kind of tunnels where the washing machine can connect.
I mean, because there's so many different appliances that can nowadays connect and exchange information and analyze stuff like, let's say, smart refrigerators. They can analyze what you have in and send you a message in terms of what you need to buy, stuff like that. Where does that end? I mean, from security standpoint, let alone privacy standpoint.
They can only connect to one point on the internet, and one point on the internet can connect to them.
So you firewall everything else out. Yeah. Holy moly, you're worse than I am.
Tunnel it,
would it be
secure
viable?
It, encrypt it.
Would it be viable to create networking equipment that would detect Internet of Things and then automatically sandbox them? So basically, create the routers that are going to automatically sandbox everything that is Internet of Things, and create the entire separate network for them, keep them separate from your regular network.
I think there are already devices that do that right now, that can, for example, create some kind of other wireless VLANs for separate devices. So they can detect this is not your own device, I will put it in the, for example, guest network.
Some kind of perimeter network or something.
I think that is what you're saying is not possible, but there is workaround. Again, you need to have support of all the companies which produce IoT devices or something, that they create some kind of, I don't know, PowerShell or something. When you put your new device in your home or something, that they send command to the router or firewall to create some rules. Because even if you detect that that is some kind of IoT device, I don't know, some webcam or something, how you expect that firewall will know how to create that rule?
So UPnP basically.
Yes.
But reverse UPnP, so that the firewall knows that it shouldn't be allowing this device to work.
But that device need to send information about IP addresses which will need to be
accessed.
accessed.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, it's UPnP with additional twist. Makes sense.
Okay. Do you
But
have
no, I like Damir's thought.
Yeah.
Damir's thought of completely isolating the entire Internet of Things.
Yeah, that's completely you.
Onto one IP address. This is completely me.
Yes,
I would
absolutely.
completely agree with this because
If there was an IT micromanager in terms of doing weird stuff on network for the purpose of either just doing it or because we can, or a combination of those two, that's him.
I'm just for trying out how the packets can go through the network without any idea where they're going.
So basically want to deal with weird routing issues.
Yes.
We already have problems with that. Okay, I just have one more question. It's for closing, but if you have any others, go ahead.
No, just go because I started this thing, but so you need to end it.
Oh, the natural rules. You can think about that later.
So just some question for Yasmin. So we're talking about these packets or something, and I have one question. Someone need to find some way how to put in packets some material,
Okay.
not just electrons, to use it for transferring things, etc.
Yes,
And
I wanted to download pizza and coffee. Yes. And this is this thing that I
like that very much.
I'm right now always on the lookout for that. If you make it, I'll buy it. That's not a problem.
No, I'm waiting that someone make it. I will just use it.
But so this makes us average users. So we are just waiting for somebody to come out with the idea. This needs to be sorted. This needs to be sorted. This needs high priority.
No, I have idea, but someone need to do it.
Okay.
So you are going to patent the idea and let somebody else do the work for you. Oh man,
And collect the royalties.
that sounds like a good plan.
I see an
Can
RFC.
we split?
I see an
It's
RFC.
hard to work in academy.
Yeah,
I can see an RFC coming. Pizza delivery over IP networking.
pizza as a service.
I was just thinking, it's going to be the same thing that almost every other thing on the internet does. So if you don't pay the subscription, you lose all the pizzas that you already downloaded.
Yeah, which means that you're just going to deflate.
Yes.
Just going to get slim. Okay, so the last topic before we close the session down is related to something that we did recently. So we are coming off from a very successful and quite big, very well, let's say, received conference about security and on the topic of NIS2 and some other related topics. I think that kind of jump-started or sparked a conversation in the public about what needs to happen next. From that perspective, and also having in mind that we do a specific type of work, which is directly related to that, what happens next. Do you see any kind of way in which we can continue informing the general public, let's say, about the implications of security and NIS2 and in general security, just as an idea, apart from organizing conferences or doing podcasts or writing articles or doing education that we do? Is there something that's more penetrable in terms of getting the message across? Because message is not becoming less important; it is becoming more important as time goes by.
So basically, if I see this as one of the media stuff or something, I think that in the last 20 years is the first time that I have any kind of media something which are not result of some major cyber attack or something like that. So basically, in most cases, media talk about cybersecurity after some cyber breach or major
Reactive
cyber
security,
attack or
yeah.
something like that. And there is some other things which are also not interesting for the media. Even in that occasion, they have some panels or something, and there is, I don't know, 10 cybersecurity experts, etc. And all of us agree that security need to be in focus and need to be much more strict,
And that's always
regulated,
a
etc.
conclusion, yes.
And basically, it's not interesting for media if you have all the people who just agree with everyone else. So they want to have some discussion and some fight between speakers. And I think that just to go back to the NIS2 directive, etc. So basically, it's not related to general public at all.
I know.
Okay. So
I was just using it as a metaphor.
It's only for, let's say, in Croatia, few percent of the companies will need to improve security to support this new directive. And the major thing for all these companies is the cost to be compliant with that. And my opinion is that it's not cost, it's investment in security and business continuity for these companies.
Potato.
And related for the public or the rest, we need to have some security awareness programs, etc. So basically, I like the way how Croatia will implement this NIS2 directive, because I think that there is no country which are not lack of cybersecurity experts, and there is no way that in any country every company have at least one cybersecurity expert. There is no enough
chance.
cybersecurity experts, and I always hate all the government agencies, etc., which just produce some policies, documents, etc., and send to everyone. You need to implement that, and most of the company don't even know what they're talking about. And now we will have some agencies which will operationally help these companies, not by creating some rules, but operational help. And I think for every country is much easier to create, okay, Croatia is a small country, so I think that one team with 100 cybersecurity experts can deal with all security incident in the country. And basically they will be great because they can be specialized for different type of attacks and support different companies.
Yes, and the thing is that I like about NIS2 is the thing that they put in when they said that every company that wants to implement NIS2 can do it.
Yes.
Because this actually means that the company that has 3 people inside them can ask to be part of NIS2 and then use the security experts from the government to establish
if there is such a model.
Okay, so there is maybe maybe something misunderstanding. So you can apply for it, and government will decide will you be part of it. It's related. Is your business is any national security critical or not?
But
so
I know
basically, if you have a bar and you apply to be protected from the government, probably they will deny your request.
Yes, but I know that I'm going to be one of the guys who is going to organize people to become NIS2 users, simply because this is the way to improve the security without requiring security experts. And this is a good thing to do. Also, it makes security a prime choice for every company because they can actually get something for free, and this is okay. This is completely okay. And I'm completely on the side of making all the operators, be them telecom operators or whatever operators, cloud security operators, whatever, part of NIS2, simply because they are going to need to protect the users then.
But I'm surprised that you think about it, because you forgot one big major thing if you do that.
Yes.
What will be with private security companies which right now providing these services?
Which part of him trolling and being like that didn't you understand?
I don't see a problem with private security companies here in Croatia because I don't see them having that many clients here in Croatia, and they would get then we need to completely orient themselves to the foreign market, so they would still get the money, and they would get asked to do the consulting for the private companies.
But NIS2 directive is not only for Croatia; it's from for European Union,
yes,
and
we need to be special.
And
no, we don't.
No,
but we need to be special. When we do something, we need to be special. Like GDPR, when we are creating GDPR directives, we are going to say we are going to be in it, but we are not going to have any possible penalties for the government.
Which most of the countries did, not only Croatia.
Yes.
The reason why the government is not can be pensioned, because in that way, just imagine that some I don't know, ministry or something create something which are GDPR violate GDPR compliance. They will need to pay the penalty to the same account which are they use for the
for the basically country budget.
This wouldn't be a problem for me, because I would just then create a small spreadsheet that would say, okay, how much money did the government had to pay to itself because they are completely unaware of what GDPR is.
Okay, let's close this down, because I'm just going to give you a closing thought. We're talking to a person who complained to one of our regulators about the post office, by the way, correctly so, for misrepresenting the status of the shipments. And he got actually a reply from the agency to provide some more information, and that might actually be successful and might be something that's a good thing that he did for the public. But still, you're talking to a person who did that. Just have that in mind.
It is possible.
It needs to be done, yes.
If you have a government account that is going to reply to you, you don't know if it's working unless you test it. So you just need to
You're testing operations and security.
Yes,
that's
ticketing.
It. So secure communication established and communication itself established.
Not necessarily secure, because I had to put the question in through the form on the internet, and I had to wait for something like close to 2 months before I got the answer. But then again, it was kind of sort of working.
Yeah, makes you feel also so soft and cuddly.
No, it didn't. But okay, let's finish this thing off.
Good, do it.
You
started, you finish.
So what did we learn?
Absolutely nothing.
We are not secured.
We are not secure. We cannot be secure. We should be using only one single IP address for all the Internet of Things.
Per device?
Devices.
Devices. So you buy all of the devices from the same
I need to know which IP address.
And you forgot
you have to have that in documentation.
And you forgot that we need to go back to Netscape.
Yes, we need to go back to Netscape.
We need to go back to Netscape.
What we also need to do, I need to know which IP address are we going to choose, because then we will make money.
That's it.
Like we had 111144448888 and so on IP addresses that got bought for a lot of money by Google and Cloudflare. But anyways, thank you for being with us. Thank you, Zlatan. Thank you, Damir. This was, I would call it amazing, but at the same time it was depressing, because talking about security always is, and talking about user doubly so. So let's close this thing down with Vedran trying to be at least a bit uplifting.
No, let's call this ThatITShow on the road. And close
yes,
it down.
Okay. So thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
And thank you having us.
We'll keep on having you for future episodes as well.
No, you're not getting off the leash.
Yeah,
Off the hook.
Off the hook. Yeah.
No, off the leash.
On that
Leash is much better.
Yeah, on that bombshell.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Right.